I wanted to introduce you to the public here for anybody who's watching us for the first time and getting to know about us, but definitely
Okay.
getting to know about you.
Yeah.
So just in like, just a quick recap, like tell me, what do you do? And I know you own a business as well and you're doing different things. So just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Well, I'm what I like to call in the beginning. I started for all of you parents who have children in the entertainment industry or desire to pursue that for your children. I started as a momager, is what you call it. Where you
Momager.
yeah, I call it the momager, the mom and the manager.
Oh, cool.
And then I graduated to actually becoming a talent agent myself with Hudson Talent Agency. And I am also a realtor. So I go by the tag name of Zena, the real estate warrior, which is very convenient. Thank you for my mom naming me Zena. So those are the three hats I wear besides being a wife, a grandmom, a mother, a daughter. Those are my hats.
Are you from this area or did you move
I'm
here from?
originally from New Jersey. I came here via military. My husband's a military and I'm a veteran as well. He's retired. And we just decided to stay.
Oh, how cool. How long has it been now in Hampton
Well,
Roads?
you probably would say that I'm from here because my youngest is 20, will be 29.
Okay.
So my oldest is 34. So let's say I've been here 36 years. So you could say I am from Virginia.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. So about, yeah, you've built your residency, of course. No.
right here. Yes, yes.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
So I guess a couple of things I want to ask you, and I want
Okay.
to mainly, there's different things in our community that's happening. And for me, I love to focus on creatives and dreamers.
Okay.
And I just feel like, we have the right to pursue what we love and we have the right to be happy in this life. And if part of it is being creative, like responding to your creative side and achieving dreams, like we should be there for one another. And
Yeah.
I love the fact that you're there, you're in the midst of it. So not only are you there as a mother, right? Like
Yeah.
helping your kids achieve their dreams, but you're there in the talent industry as an agent. And agents, to me, the real, super cool agents are, they're kind of like moms too. You're kind of like
Yes.
during like all the people on your roster. And
Yes.
then you're also helping people like find their dream home. So you right
Yes.
there, you're in
That's
things
true.
that are just so to me potent in life. And
Yeah.
so let's start with you being a mom, because I think at your core that's probably like the highest priority you have,
Yes,
right?
it is. I love children. Yes.
Perfect. So when you I guess were you also in the talent industry prior to
Oh
your?
no,
Okay.
absolutely not. No, I come from a background of my parents owning, working the regular 9 to 5s and also owning a business. Um, so my background really is growing up in family business. My dad owned the first video store in our neighborhood, and my mom owned three salons in our neighborhood. She built from one
Wow.
and had three, and they both still work their regular jobs. So that means after school, what do? You work with the businesses, and on the weekends you work. So that was my environment. That's how I grew up. Yeah.
So
Work.
you were kind of in customer service from a very
Yes.
young age. Oh wow.
Yes, absolutely.
So when did you find out that your daughter had aspirations to be
Oh my gosh, I was shocked. This is what happened. I didn't know that my daughter had been she'd been going to the skating ring. And at the skating ring, we started with in the music side of entertainment first, the music industry.
Oh.
They had what they call these battle raps. And she was like 12 years old. She kept coming home. She would win these prizes. And I kept saying, well, what are you doing that you win this? So me and my husband went to pick her up from the skating ring with her friends one day. And the security guard came out. He said, oh my gosh, your daughter is amazing. She won $50 this time. And then me and my husband looked at each other. We said, $50 for what? Oh, she did a battle rap. She's the only girl, and she killed it. I was like, oh, I'm going to get her when she gets home. So we get home and we say, what's going on? What are you doing? We don't want you doing that. Da 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 da. And she says, I knew you didn't want me doing that. That's why I didn't tell you. I've been writing my own little rhymes. And then she says, it's okay. She says, but the guys are getting a little angry. And I said, well, you need to stop that right now. Yeah, well, that didn't seem to work. Then I had some friends in the who worked for the radio station, and I think they had like a contest called Battle of the Bands coming up, and they said you should let her be in Battle of the Bands. We know she can sing and rap and whatever. Well, everybody else knew about this talent, but me and my husband didn't know.
No way.
Yeah.
Like she didn't like walk around the house like doing her raps or singing, nothing?
No, no, everything private in her room, writing and singing, you know.
Wow.
But she was such an amazing student. That is where the focus was for us, education. So she asked me one day while we were driving, I think we were driving to New Jersey to visit my mom. And she said, hey, Mom, they said at the radio station, they said I should enter this contest, Battle of the Bands. I said, well, you don't have a band, so therefore, I don't think you'll be entering Battle of the Bands. She says, well,
Right.
that's just the title, Mom. Anyone can do it. I said, yeah, no, stop. We won't discuss this any further. And that's just what I did. And then someone came from the radio station to me again and said, hey, they're having a seminar for parents and kids. Why don't you just come? Some people in the music industry will be there. I said, okay, I'm going to put this thing to rest. I'm going to come. She's going to sit, and then that'll be it.
You're gonna show up
Well,
like this with your arms
yeah.
crossed. Yeah.
hmm We had a front row seat. She brought her legal pad, 8x11, her pen,
Aw.
sat in the front row, and took notes of every class in the seminar. And she caught the eye of this lawyer who was retired named Martin Sylvan. And one thing led to another. She did some things, and people kept asking us to do things. So finally, I just said, you know what? This doesn't seem to be going away. Let me just kind of embrace this and see what's it about. I said, because I don't want to squash her dreams, but I really don't want her to get into entertainment. It's not something I feel that a child of her age should be involved with. That is actually what I said. So I started journaling about it, saying, okay, and this is the truth. Lord, help me with this, because she seems to be pretty serious about this. And whatever she puts her mind to, it seems like she's doing it, and people
Wow.
keep coming to me. I said, so me and my husband will take it seriously. So Mr. Sylvan made arrangements with us with CBN and the entertainment law to take a few classes so I could learn about the contracts and the different things. This is before anything really happened. She
Wow.
entered Battle of the Bands and she won.
Oh.
And then, yes, I was like, darn it, I was so mad. I said, she'll lose and that'll be the end of it. No way. So then the next step from Battle of the Bands was a regional competition, which they did at the Hampton Coliseum. And so she had the whole summer to prepare, and the pilot followed her all summer. She got a 5-page spread in
What?
the Virginia pilot. Yep. So we went ahead, me and my sister, we formed a little dance group behind her. My husband thought of this theme, like Rocky. We ordered her this Rocky red and white boxing jacket and shorts and gloves. She made up the songs. We did the routines and helped her out. And then she went on there, and her brother went with her. They killed it, and they won.
Oh my gosh.
I was
Whoa.
like,
Crazy.
ah, okay.
What?
Yeah, I was like, oh boy. I didn't think, yeah. And long story short, we had music. We had gosh, I have it in my journal, but we had the major labels coming to our door, actually coming to sit down and have a meal with us. I cooked for them and talked to them. And the funny thing is, they said, well, thank you for the meal, Mrs. Ward. Now we need to speak to your husband. And my husband said, oh no, you need to speak to my wife. So I learned a lot. And by taking the entertainment law class, I learned a lot too, because I started to read the contracts and I caught so many different things. So what people don't know is they thought, oh my gosh, your mom didn't let you do anything. Well, I was such a stickler, I really didn't let her do anything. I took her places and we did our own tours and did our own stuff. That's what we did, but I didn't let her sign to anything. And plus she's a minor. None of the contracts are solidified or, because it's a minor. But
Right.
parents don't know that. So I learned a lot. I mean, I learned grassroots. You know, we did our own CDs, we did our own recordings, we traveled. We actually broke down on the highway one day after a gig, and a car caught on fire. So it was like a 4-lane highway on each side. So we were there for hours. We got out the car and they did a performance.
Oh,
I had 8 dancers and my daughter. We turned on the
wow.
headlights. We had so much fun. But that was our grassroots. I learned the hard way. We went through a lot, but that's basically how it happened. It wasn't that I said, okay, excuse me, this is a wonderful idea, let's go for it. I was the protective parent, me and my
Yeah.
husband. Yeah, and I'm glad we did.
Yeah, I mean, this is the first time I ever heard the story.
Mm-hmm.
And what really is like big for me is that, you know, you had a force of nature that was living in your house. Like,
Yes, yes.
you just needed, you know, you to engage and really protect her, because all that
Mm-hmm.
great talent was gonna go somewhere regardless.
Yes.
And I think too, sometimes I do see it from the point of view of like, you know, you've seen this too, like people mean well for their kids, but they're really pushing the kids, and the kids aren't really the ones like wanting it.
What? Yeah.
You know, like they're like, well, yeah, my mom wants me to do this. I just feel like then they get a little bit upset that things aren't happening.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look at the light of that kid, it's really, they're really not into it. So of course they're not going to get hired, and it's not going to turn out, you know, in the way they think
I
it's going to.
lost you for a minute. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're fine.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, okay. So I was saying that sometimes people get disappointed that things aren't turning out the way they think, but it's really, in my opinion, is it really in the child's best interest that they're pursuing whatever it is that they're trying to pursue,
Mhm.
right? So
I
as,
feel protected. Yeah, it's a
yeah,
protection purpose. Things don't always work out the way you think they should, but a lot of times it's the best thing for the child. Because we,
right.
after music, we pursued, you know, we did so many other things, a lot of things here locally, theater. She also worked for Disney starting at, I think she was 15. And that was a challenge because she started making $200 an hour. Yeah. And tell a 15-year-old making $200 an hour what to do.
Yeah.
She's a very respectful young lady, but it's a whole different level. And then if you ask her now, a lot of things that we did in the beginning from 12 on up, she doesn't remember because we were so busy. It's like
Wow.
a blur. And I
Whoa.
didn't know that, but as she got older, she says, you know, we look at the pictures and we have so much stuff, you know, but she's like, wow, I don't remember that. So
Right.
I try to tell parents I'm from a different aspect. I'm really in the nature of me now is to protect the child because I'm like, look, this child, and they say, well, that's just your child. I'll do different. No, it's so much stuff going on. It goes so fast. If your child is out and you guys are on the road, these are so many gigs, so much stuff for them to remember, so many things for them to perform, so many outfits, so much this, and it might be fun, but it's a blip. It goes shh. And
Mm.
then when they have to come back to normal life after being so high, it's like a boom. It's a big drop. Like, oh my gosh, I'm so bored. You know,
Oh,
you get it as an adult. You get a high from traveling and doing things, and then you have to come back to natural life. You can't fit in. And then other people look at you differently and they don't treat you the same. So you
oh,
still can't fit in. So
right.
these kids are going through a lot of stuff. And then the part where sometimes as they get older, the rejection part where you can't get every part. We're going to acting now. You know, even with entertainment, with the music, you can't get every gig. You don't, it wears on their persona. You know, it's a lot for them to handle because it's a lot for adults to handle rejection.
Very true. Very true. And what if, you know, you're meeting all these successes early, and then how did you really get through those times when it felt tougher, like you said, because you're in between? Like what did you two do together?
Um, we were kind of like always kind of like friends. So, but it was different because it's hard to be a friend and a manager,
Ooh,
you know, because even when you're friends and you want to be a mom and a daughter, you're always talking about business. So it's like, okay, I want my mom now. I don't want the manager. Yeah, I mean, it's so much psychosis, so much stuff that goes on in this. The parents need to know, because the kids can't tell you, but as they get older, if you're still close, they'll tell you.
Wow.
Like, oh, I need my mom. I don't want the manager. And then it's, I don't want you to be my manager anymore because I want you to be my mom. And then,
Right.
no, I want you to be my manager because nobody's going to look out for me like you do. So it's like you go through so many different hats. You have to be strong as a parent. It's a lot of, for me, only way I can say, a lot of praying,
Yes.
a lot of praying. And everybody's definition of success is different. Like some people say, oh, you should go here to California. You should have did this. You should have done that. And that was your definition of success. By nature, I'm really a homebody. I love the environment of the home, the presence of the home. I'm strictly a 100% family person. That's why the real estate and the home thing works for me.
Yeah.
So I tried to keep things as normal and as homey as possible at the same time while trying to do the entertainment thing, which is so difficult, but I couldn't have done it without the support of family. That's what
Right.
really helped. I couldn't have done it by myself. My sister, my husband, my mom, my son was touring with us and doing things. And then all the dancers that we hired and other people, they became friends. But then you have to think about, I tell people, are for the children, are these people friends to the children because they like the child or because they think the child has something to offer in the way of entertainment? They can do something for them just like they are for adults. And then these children get older and find out, no, these people weren't really friends. They were just, so they're having a hard time too.
Yeah. And like you
Yeah.
said, you got to be with her as the momager.
Mm-hmm.
But for you, like, because it was all about your child at
Mm-hmm.
that moment, and then you're away from your husband,
Mm-hmm.
and you're, do you have another child too? Like,
My son, and he traveled with us until
oh,
he
he
went to
traveled with
college.
you.
Yeah.
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 So how, for you as a person, as a woman of faith, like how do you keep your sanity when it's like you're pulled in so many directions and it's not about you most of the time for that
It's
direction?
really pretty hard. You pretty much become oblivious to yourself, and your identity is wrapped up into your child. And if you have other children, you have to be careful because everybody's identity gets wrapped up into the child star,
Yeah.
because the goal is to make sure the child becomes successful. And everybody's trying to help with that goal, and they have to because you might not be there. So a lot of things get pushed to the wayside, especially other children, if they're not also in the entertainment industry.
Right.
It has so many different quandaries and corners and different things that can happen, and you have to be so careful. And when you're in it as a parent, sometimes you don't see it because you're so busy over here with the other kid that everything else is oblivious. And then when you come back to it, you're like later on in life, oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, and then by then it's like, oh no.
Yeah. Oh no.
You don't want
Yeah.
to do that. So
Yeah.
you're working as a talent agent with Hudson Talent Agency.
Yes.
What is probably so I mean, yeah, so the parents themselves, what's probably the biggest challenge nowadays for parents? Is it the same? I mean, or do you see any
I
kind of
think it's the same but different in a way because we have so much the aspects of technology now
yeah,
with social media. I mean, you can market your child differently now, but then too, is that such a different level of exploitation? That
yes.
was always my question then about exploiting your child. What is too much for the child? Because the child might not tell you. People think it's so cute, but then when those kids get older, their personalities are molded by that camera and by trying to get attention from people, and they become adults. What happens with that desire after you become an adult? It's so
Right.
much to it. Yeah, parents, you have to be so careful. And I believe there are people who are born that is their gift to be in entertainment. I believe that, but then I believe there's some people who are being pushed, and a parent has to look when it's a time. Oh, stop! They no longer desire that. I never had to push my daughter. It
Right.
was truly in her. It's hard work. She worked. Her work ethic from when she was young is amazing, but it takes so much discipline. They have to be rested. They have to eat right. They have to exercise, you know, and the child, you can't be the one whipping the child into that. At some point, they have to be trained and they have to take it off and do it themselves. And if you can't get that, then you have to stop, because this is a competitive game and it's a shark game. People are out for blood.
Right.
It's no, you know, people say, oh, you can be nice. Well, you can be nice, but in business and even as an entrepreneur, nice doesn't always work. Business is business. This is a business. Your child is a product. And that's what I want to tell people. I want to be nice to you. I want to tell you all the nice things about being in entertainment. But the bottom line is your kid is a product and it's coming up against the other products. And that's what it is. And you have to think like that. It's so many, you have to wear a business hat. You have to wear that parent hat. You have to be the protector. And if you get to a certain level, you better have a lawyer.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And maybe even beforehand, like you said, like you were
Yeah.
learning stuff before even these opportunities approached. And I think
Yes.
that set you guys up for success.
Yes. Me and my husband studied. Yeah. It was so helpful. And even with that, we still ran into so many things, because you have to think about it. These companies have been doing this for a long time.
Yes.
And they have so much more on you than, you know. And then there's the sharks, the people who want you to pay for all the money for the headshots, all the money for the training. My thing I say to people, if you find it yourself that you're spending an immense amount of money on that type of stuff, something's wrong, because you
Right.
shouldn't have to.
And you
Not,
gotta,
go ahead.
no, I'm just saying that people don't think about like the return on the investment,
Oh
right?
my gosh.
So I
Yes.
always tell people, it's like, okay, if you're hiring for anything, so like the way I price my headshots and things like that, I have to say, how many gigs does it take to get their return on this one headshot? Like it should be just the price of maybe one standard extra gig, right?
That's
because
right.
then
Yes.
you make your money back at least.
Yes.
But I've seen other packages that are like 3 times, like I don't even know, 20 times more expensive than I would ever dare put out there. And
Yeah,
I'm
I've
just
seen
like,
that too.
for what?
I would
Like
like
what?
to say to the parents, use your common sense. And now you have Google
Yeah.
and you can YouTube anything.
Yes.
Before you do anything, YouTube it. See what other people are saying about it. Like the resource that you're doing now. Find out from other parents who have been doing this for a while and who have some level of success, what they have done. You
Right.
know, those things where they say, well, come here, we'll put you up and all these people will see you, and you end up paying thousands of dollars, and you can only be represented by us. Those are red flags. Yeah, those are red flags. And people still do it because they're so desperate to be quote unquote famous, make a lot of money. And that's the other thing I want to tell people. If you're in this and you think immediately, boom, like you see on TV, that you're going to make, I'm pointing this way because my television's over here, you're going to make a lot of money immediately, that is not always the case. And even then, if you look like your contract says you're going to make a lot, there's a lot of people to pay. Yeah. So
Right. And you know what's fascinating is that people always go, oh, well, how can I do this better? And I always tell people, go to classes and attend different things and meet the agents. And then we put things together and they don't show up. But they'll
yeah,
show up to an audition, but they won't show up to a class.
class.
So we say like, that's a little backwards in my opinion. You need the meat behind you before you
Well,
go
if
to
you're
do
not willing to take the classes, then you're not willing to be in the industry. You have to hone your craft,
yes.
no matter what you're doing. I don't care if um, I don't care what you're doing. If you're fixing heaters and you're the heating and cooling man, you have to take a class.
Right.
You're a chef, you take your class, you hone your crafts. If you're not willing to take classes and dish out the money, you're in the wrong industry. And it can cost a lot to take classes, really good classes by stable individuals in the industry who are known for their craft. But
Mm-hmm.
if you're not willing to do that, then you should stop. Because I get people calling all the time, oh, no, I have no experience. No, I haven't taken any classes, but I'd like to be an actor. I have the chops. I did it. And I'm like, you might, but you're like everybody else who says that. Why should I give you an opportunity unless you get on the camera and you blow something away? And I'm like, oh my gosh, that kid is a natural. But even after that, you still need to take classes. And you could you could do, if you want to be an actor, you could do local theater. There's so many different things you can do, plays. Keep yourself, get your skills up. So,
Yeah.
but a
And
lot
get
of
that
people don't
good,
want to do that.
yeah, get that good feedback, because you might be a star in your own head, but then someone else might see something that could help really bring you up even further. And why
Yes,
not use that tool?
yes.
And so let me ask you, because also a lot of people are out there who want to be self-starters and business owners, and you have your own realty company, which makes sense to me because now that you're good at contracts.
Yep. Yeah, that's the thing.
Sense. But there's a lot of dedication that you have to put into that because you are your own company.
Yes.
What motivates you to keep going? Because you have the balance of life, but then you have like your own dreams and goals for your business. What really helps you get organized and motivated?
Well, okay, as a mom, this is what happened to me. After my kids, graduated and kind of moved on, and my daughter, she moved on quicker because let's face it, she was making a lot more money. So she could kind of, do what she wanted. And so like maybe I think about 16, 16 and a half, she moved out. Yeah. Yeah. Well, she could take care of herself.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so she didn't do an emancipation thing, but she moved out, and she did pretty well. And then I was here at the house, and I'm like, oh boy, what am I gonna do? Even though I was still her manager, but then it was a different level. I had a lot of time on my hand. I said, you know what? I think I'm gonna go back to school and get my degree. So I went back to college, so I could help her in a different capacity, have a little more knowledge about different things. And so I went back to school for business and communications. And then once I started that, I did an internship at Hudson Talent Agency. And oh my gosh, it was natural because I had been doing it with my daughter. And so once I
And
graduated, yeah.
and you're working with a beautiful soul.
Oh my gosh, people, Sylvia, you have no idea. She
Yeah.
is a diamond in the rough. You won't get an agent like her.
Yeah.
I have not met anybody like her as a person. She is truly a giver by nature. Yeah, she's got a kind heart and she watches out for her talent in a way that I've not seen anybody. And I can say that from behind the scenes as a momager,
Yeah.
with my daughter as talent, and now as I don't
As
even
an
feel like an employee, but a talent agent with her agency. Awesome. She's kind of taught me, no better teacher, by the way, you know. So once I did that, I thought, okay, I'm working over here. I love homes, and I love families. And I just thought, you know what? I don't know how I felt. Somebody asked me about real estate, and I said, no, I don't think so. And then something just clicked. My daughter said, Mom, you should just try it. I said, okay. Everybody's like, oh my gosh, you know how hard it is to take that test? People take it all the time. I said, okay. I thought, oh my gosh. So I took it. I passed it on the first time. And that's the end of the story. I just fell in love with it.
You passed it the first time? That's
The
awesome.
first time, but listen, when I passed it, I didn't know I had passed it. I was like, oh my gosh, those questions were so difficult. I don't think I passed. And then you push this button and it says, you passed. I was like, oh, yes, yes. So Zena, the real estate warrior, is now with Berkshire Hathaway Town Services Realty, which is one of the top real estate agents in this area. So I
Yeah.
really like them because I'm kind of like really an organized person. And I've seen so many people buy homes, including myself, where the process was really ridiculous and people did not actually tell me the things that I should have known before I purchased the home.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's kind of how I felt about with the kids in entertainment. I don't like people being taken advantage of.
Right.
So I feel like I'm kind of like some kind of protector.
You are the warrior.
Yeah, so that's why I feel like the warrior. So I said, you know what? I'm not gonna let this happen to anybody. It shouldn't happen to anyone. Anything that you do for me, I don't do it just to be do. I really pray about it,
Yeah.
and I feel like I'm called to do it. So I really feel like a kind of like a protector. I told my daughter, I said, you know what? I think I would like to help parents, just speaking to them, not charging them anything or asking them for anything. Listen, these are your red flags. This is what you should do. Like you're doing now, give them a checklist. This, and this. If you see this, exit stage right, you know, because it scars the children
Yes. Yeah.
forever. It
And
really does.
that's why I was really excited that you were going to take the time to talk to me, because you've seen a lot, and being a momager, you know, you really also saw the paperwork, the behind the scenes, all these things. And I
Yes.
think it's easy to
Yes.
glamorize that industry, but there's so much to it, and there's a lot of heartache
I've
too.
had days where one day I didn't sleep for 3 days.
Wow.
That's so dangerous, but it's so true.
Why,
Yeah.
why was that? What happened?
Well, I was preparing contracts, preparing
Oh,
for a gig, rehearsing the dancers. I don't know how I stayed up. And I had a driver.
oh,
And when we got in the van, I fell out. I was so exhausted. Yeah, but see, we were doing, at that time we had CDs. We were making our own CDs, labeling them,
wow.
I put our own press kits together. So I was the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker, and it was just me and my sister. And when I said I didn't sleep for 3 days, I'm gonna say I didn't go to my bed for 3 days. I
Right.
probably fell asleep at the desk or downstairs on a chair, but it was never a straight 8 hour in the bed type of sleep, you know.
Right.
So
And I think sometimes you got to be willing to go through to those lengths. Like if you're
you do,
passionate about something, you sacrifice a couple of things, and sometimes
yes.
you have to sacrifice some sleep, and then you can't be grumpy about it, because you know what?
Nope.
You're the one who made the choice.
That's right. That's why I look at people when they're even at jobs and they're so, I'm like, okay, if you don't like where you're at in life, change it,
Hmm.
do something. And, I'm like, I'm 55 years old. I went back to school after my kid. Yeah. And I'm
Yeah.
like, people like, I can't believe people do it all the time. They
Yes.
go back to school, they hustle, they work. Some people work 2 and 3 jobs, and I saw my parents work, their regular 9 to 5s and run their businesses. Well, my dad worked in the evening, so he ran a store in the daytime. But the two of them, and I learned from them. My mom and dad, my mom went to school and worked a job and had a business. And I remember watching her doing hair and studying out of her book while she was doing her clients' hair and repeating stuff. And I was in the shop. I started being a shampoo girl. I hated it though, because I had to do it every Saturday. Everybody was doing stuff and watching cartoons and whatever. That was never the case for us. Yeah. So it
What?
just was, yeah, work. My mom's like, if you want it, go get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess you got to credit a lot of like what makes you a warrior because of your parents
Yes.
showcasing that to you.
Yes. Yeah. My dad, and you could see that they're tired. But and then the other thing, their values, family is everything. You stick together. That's just how, and you don't see that a lot anymore. I don't, it's different, but if one person in our family is at a low point, we work with them until they can get to a high point. But the person has to want to do it. You can't
Yes.
force people, and that's the thing. And I think too, nowadays things are so easy for kids because we want them to have the best, but hard work is the best teacher. Nobody should just get everything handed to them because it makes for a terrible character, you know.
It does, certainly
Yeah.
does. And I think, you have definitely given us so many things to think about. And I just thank you for that. You've always been,
Oh,
ever since I've met you, you've just always been an open person. And
yeah.
I like what you said that, there's this part of you, open, warm, likes to be at home. But look, when it comes down to like making sure that you achieve what you want to achieve, there's that warrior, there's that
Yes.
fighter, and like there's nothing that's gonna stop you guys. Like even if it's like if it demands like you staying awake for 3 days, like you're gonna
Yep.
do whatever it takes.
Takes.
And but you're still humble. Like I like that.
Oh,
Like
listen, because we all know it could be taken away from you in a heartbeat.
right.
Nothing is forever. I like to say one thing to the parents, especially the moms who are with the kids all the time.
Yes.
Don't forget yourself, because you are actually a reflection to your kids. I want to see to the moms, and I went through that point too. You're so busy with your kids that, especially in entertainment, where oh, period. Even if you're not in entertainment, your kids come first. They look nice, but then I look at you and you look, oh my gosh. And I've seen people parents come to auditions and take their kids to things, and I'm like, that parent looks absolutely horrid. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yes, right?
Yeah, I would
Maybe
like to.
you and I can maybe come up with something like maybe a fun event just to
Yes,
boost these moms back up, right?
bounce back up, because we need it so much. We're expected to be everything to everybody, and we can't. And that's something that is good for, especially the little girls, because they mimic what they see their mom does, and eventually they're going to think like that too. So we got to put ourselves first, and your spouse, if you're,
And your spouse.
and your spouse. Yeah,
Yes.
because
I
you
am
can.
always crediting my spouse. Like people go, "Oh, Marilen, this is so neat that you're achieving so many things and getting things done." And I'm like, "Look, I have 5 children, and they mean the world to me, and I'm very driven. But I cannot do half the things, or even a third of the things that I do, without my loving, supportive husband. He's my rock. When I have like any frustration, we talk, and it's just a gift. So if you
That's how I
definitely
feel
have
with my
that,
husband too. Yeah.
yeah, cherish it,
Yeah,
like,
that behind the scenes stuff. He went out in the snow to one of my properties to check on the pipes for me. If I didn't
oh,
have him, I would be out in the snow doing it.
that's
You
right.
know? Yeah, and I'm like, he came in, and I'm like, I'm so blessed. And
Yes,
even when I'm not available, he provides the meals. He cooks. I come in and there's a meal cook. Those things mean the world.
that's
You know?
right.
So my other thing I say to people is, it's nice to have, you want your own business. You want, we have to live, we have to eat, we have to provide financially for ourselves, but don't ever forget about the most important things, which is relationships,
Yes,
families. I feel bad for my friendships, because a lot of times you're in my sphere, of entertainment and what I'm doing, I really can't spend any time with you. And I mean to spend time with people and go places, but it's just not enough time in the day to do it,
right.
and that's another guilt thing that we get, but
And you just got to carve it out too. But also,
yeah,
people have to realize that you're vibrating at a different speed. That if they're not, it's really tough for you to just come down off your level and like hang in, because like sometimes we do lose touch with people that we care about, but sometimes
yes.
where you're going is not where we're going, and you have to be accepting of that's okay to choose what you're choosing, because you're vibing really high and they
Now
might not.
that's hard, and that's hard for kids in entertainment once they become successful, I think too, because it's a whole different thing. And then if you get in an atmosphere where people, they don't mean to be, but you can feel that the energy is negative, you got to
Yes,
make sure you stay out of that,
yes,
that environment, because it'll pull you down. It's so much to it. I mean, we could talk forever. We could
I
bullet
know.
point a million topics. Oh my gosh. Yes.
So
I'm
Zena, I thank you though. This is definitely has to be continued later.
yes.
Especially on the mom side of things, right? Like we can.
Yes. So maybe I'll have some questions, and we can talk to them and help them and suggest some things, to
Yeah, I
do's
might
and not
invite
to do.
you. I'm gonna ask off when we're offline. I'm gonna invite you to something just to see if you have time for it. But anyway,
Okay.
I just want to say thank you. And if anyone's looking for you, how do they find you? How do they contact you?
They can contact me, Facebook, Zena Ward. They can also go to, my phone number is 757-582-0900. And my email address is zwardmgrp@gmail.com. So, and then if you want to, if you're interested in selling your home or buying a home, just look at me, hit me up on Facebook or on Instagram, and I work with Berkshire and Hathaway Home Services. So let's see, that is Zena, Zena dot Ward, BHHSTOWNE.com. So I was trying to remember it because it's kind of long, but you
Yeah.
can also
And
go on my website and check
I'll
me
try
out
to
there.
post it. Yeah, anytime I post this, I'll try to add all the links that you mentioned so that
Yeah,
it's
that's a lot.
no, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
I'm all about hashtag.
Hashtag veteran. Yeah, I'm a veteran, and if you're military, wanting to relocate or whatever, I'm
Love
right
that.
there for you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I appreciate this. This is
Aw, thank
really
you.
wonderful. I enjoy talking to parents about their children and watching over them. My ultimate goal is for the protection of the child. That's what I want to say. Yes.
Well, thank you again.
Yes. All right. Talk to you soon.